Very, very busy. I've been traveling a lot these past few weeks. I was throughout the entirety of Europe, and it was so fun to be around new people, new cities, and I got to spend the weekends at home, so there was always a bit of a change.
And I need to ask you for start, what happened yesterday in Austria?
Yeah.
I know it's your country. I don't know, have you lived everything? I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy that such a tragedy happened in Austria, and my heart goes out to all of the people affected and the families. It's terrible, it's young children whose lives were taken away from them, and it's very bad. This is the worst tragedy that happened in Austria so far, and it's very devastating.
And it's something that we see in United States, like it's so far, but I don't know if you have fear that can happen again, or it's just for now the grief, and I don't know.
Yeah, for me right now it was really hard for me to read this because I wasn't at home in Austria. I was abroad, so then getting to know that something like this happened was just, I'm still in shock. I cannot believe that something like this could happen.
Yeah. Well, going back to the music, I don't know if with the victory of Eurovisión, do you feel like a pressure of making new music, or how you're going to approach your career? And
no, I don't feel pressure behind it, because I'm gonna let Wasted Love have its deserved hype after winning Eurovision, and there's a remix version coming out of the song, so it will have an even longer hype, what I'm looking forward to. But I'm also very excited when I get back home to Austria. I'll be heading into the studio. I have 2 weeks planned in the studio, and we will let our creative minds flow, and I'm looking very much forward to creating new music for the fans, because that's what everyone's been asking for, and I really can't wait. I'm very excited about it, and if everything works out well, by the end of summer a new song will come out.
And do you have ideas, or what genre do you want to dig in?
Yeah, so I always wanted to do pop opera mix, and I saw that it worked well at Eurovision and that it was perceived very well by the people. So that's why I want to continue making this type of music that I put out in Eurovision, and we'll try and find a healthy balance between pop and opera, and I'll see how far we can go with that.
So do you want to keep with this formula maybe of Eurovision?
Yes, we wrote Wasted Love specifically for Eurovision, so we will definitely change it up a bit, because it's not, we don't want to keep the exact Eurovision form, but we will still keep a good balance between pop and opera, because that's what I've always wanted to do.
This has been an edition with a lot of controversy because of everything with Israel. I don't know if that has affected you, have been affecting you to your victory, or maybe overshadow your victory. How do you feel?
There's Eurovision is a place for everybody. Everyone can find their place at Eurovision. You can also see a lot of groupings. The queer community sees themselves very represented at Eurovision, and different cultures also see themselves very represented at Eurovision, and that's what Eurovision is all about. It's united by music, as the slogan says. Music is a universal language that everyone speaks and understands, and I'm very glad that the music won at the end of the day.
I wanted to ask you, because I don't know if you spoke when you won about the participation of Israel, and I wanted to know if you have to participate again, will you do it if Israel is in the contest, or would you maybe? Well, I don't know. I don't want to participate in a contest that Israel is on.
Participating once at Eurovision was a very long journey and a long process, and I don't know if I want to do Eurovision again, because I want to focus on my music and my career. Loreen did it amazingly twice, but for me personally, I don't think that I would want to do Eurovision a second time, and I want to mainly continue my pop career, because you could see from Eurovision a lot of people making huge careers after winning Eurovision, like Måneskin, for example, Celine Dion, for example. So I want to continue in that footsteps and create a career out of this journey.
And what do you think are the changes that the EUR needs to make for the next year? Some changes, but I don't know, in the political maybe part, but also in the creative part. What are the changes that need to be made?
Yeah, so this year they were focusing very much on, there's a storm outside. So this year they were focusing very much on everyone's mental well-being, and they did an amazing job, because we had a disconnected area, that's what it was called, where we had our dressing rooms, and there were no phones allowed, no cameras, no videos, nothing. So everyone could, relax, take a minute to realize what's going on, because it's a very stressful and hectic schedule that we had there for the 2 weeks that we were there. And so I was very happy that they focused on that. They did an amazing job, and I'm very sure that next year Austria will do an amazing job on the competition. It's the 70th Eurovision. I mean, that's a huge milestone that you need to celebrate. So I think they will do an amazing job.
In Spain, Melody, like the position she was, has been like difficult for her to understand, and she wasn't happy. I don't know how do you feel about the situation of Spain in the ranking? I don't know.
Personally, I think everyone did an amazing job this year. I loved Melody's performance. She's an insanely talented singer, great performer, and her helicopter, that's something that everyone remembers. And it's also hard to classify who is in which position, because everyone was very good this year. But definitely Spain deserved a better placement, but she did an amazing job, and Melody can be so proud of herself for what she achieved at Eurovision, and it was good work from everybody.
I don't know if you feel now that you've won, that every year is harder to, the level is harder, or?
Yeah, I feel like every year everyone steps up their game. So this year I realized, Eurovision was so hard, because there were so many talented artists this year with great songs, great performances, amazing, a spectacle, the staging was amazing. And I think every year it always gets better. So I'm looking forward to seeing next year's candidates with their songs and their entire show. And I'm looking forward to being a part of that show again next year.
With all the controversy, I wanted to ask you if culture can be outside of politics and politics outside of culture, or if culture needs to step on these matters, social matters.
Yeah, Eurovision is, as I mentioned earlier, a place for everybody. All of the different communities, all of the different cultures, they find themselves at Eurovision, and I feel like everyone always brings their culture with them. So the Spanish representatives always bring the huge performances, maybe even a bit of flamenco vibes, and in Austria I brought the classical music, which is a huge culture from Austria. And so I'm very glad that everyone gets to take their little bits and pieces from where they're from to the big competition.
Spain is maybe not a place you will go first to do some concerts, but I don't know if you feel like doing a tour, or you don't have proper work yet, but maybe when you start in the studio these weeks, I don't know, how do you feel about the Spanish public?
Yeah, I love the Spanish public. I did La Revuelta last night, and it was so fun. And the Spanish crowd are always, very hyper, full of energy. And all the Spanish people, when I was walking around, everyone is so nice. You can feel all of the positive energy. So I would definitely love to come back to Spain and have a performance here once I decide to go on tour.